So welcome along everybody tonight. We're really excited to be able to share this incredible technology that's producing some incredible health results for people, and also the incredible business opportunity that's in behind this, that's driving the success, getting it out to the public, getting it out to the people. So my name is Chris Boone.
And I'm Andrea Phillips.
And look, we've been involved in this incredible journey since February. So what's that about? What's that? It's about 10
9 months.
10 months. And so our journey really started last year in November, where I met a friend, Ross, who'd really been struggling with psoriatic arthritis. And so his body had started to shut down. He'd had arthritis in his joints. He had psoriasis all over his body. He was putting on weight because he wasn't able to get out and about. He couldn't walk up and down stairs. So then I saw him at a conference, and he was looking so good. He was like a changed man. And I said, mate, look at you. What's happened? You look fantastic. And he said, I've been patched. And I said, what are you talking about? You've been patched. I thought he was having me on. He said, look, I've come upon this wearable light therapy patch. He said, it's reactivated my dormant stem cells. He said, my body's gone about healing itself. He said, and I feel $1 million. He said, I can walk up and down stairs. He said, I've lost weight because now I can get out and move. My psoriasis is gone. And I said, that's fantastic. But during the conversation, I'm thinking, well, that sounds pretty cool for you. I'm glad it's really helped you. I wonder if that could help my daughter, who was struggling with a few health issues. And Ross, a really good Kiwi bloke, goes, I don't know, you'll have to ask my wife whether it can help her. And long story short, we met Linda. Oh, I knew Linda before. I'd known Ross and Linda for 20 odd years, but Linda said, look, I've got a friend, Tessa, coming in from Australia. They're bringing the technology into Australia and New Zealand. Love for you to meet them. And so we went along and we saw a presentation very much like what I'm going to give to you, and Andrea and I are going to give to you tonight. So look, I think the easiest way is I'm just going to share my screen. We'll go through the PowerPoint presentation. And as we said, have you been patched? Which means elevating a particular peptide, the GHK-Cu copper peptide. Now, don't worry about all those fancy letters and names. We're going to talk about that as we go through. It's quite simple. But then it reactivates your dormant stem cells, and then your body can go about regenerating itself. So look, one of the easiest ways just to intro this I'm going to play a 3-minute video. We're coming through PowerPoint, so if it lags a little bit, I apologize, but just bear with us. It's a very good video.
In a world searching for answers, one discovery is changing everything. A patch, no bigger than a quarter, built not to treat symptoms, but to wake up the healer inside you. This is X39, a wearable, light-activated patch. Designed by David Schmidt, an inventor with over 200 patents. His mission? To reverse aging naturally. This isn't science fiction. It's stem cell activation without injections, without pills. Your body repairing itself. The results? Life-changing energy, recovery, sleep, relief. And the medical world? It's taking notice. Still skeptical? Visit thisisitinfo.com. You'll find the studies, the patents, the proof. It's all there. But there's more. This tiny patch isn't just transforming lives, it's creating freedom. Because behind it is a business model built for the bold. Real people, real results. Income that scales with impact. And here's why. Because this breakthrough technology is patented and exclusive, it offers a lucrative business plan that allows you to compound your efforts. More people than ever are struggling in today's economy. You can no longer rely on your own sweat equity alone to make a living. This business model allows you to duplicate yourself, and even better, to benefit from other people's efforts. So your income no longer depends solely on you. By duplicating yourself over and over, The income potential is far greater than a conventional job, career, or profession. And you're never alone. The This Is It system gives you the tools, the path, the team. All you have to do is start. The question is no longer if it works, it's whether you'll act or let this moment pass. Will you keep waiting or finally feel your body come alive again? Will you stay financially stuck or build something that lasts? Isn't it time to start living life on your own terms? The This Is It action plan will set you on a path to live out the dreams you have for your family. Get back with the person who shared this video so you can experience the age-reversing health and the exciting lifestyle that thousands are already enjoying. This is the technology, this is the team, and this is your moment. This is it.
So let me introduce you to David Schmidt. So David is the CEO and inventor of X39. And as that video said, he's got over 200 patents now. He is the scientist and inventor. He specializes in age reversing. And in 2009, David focused his attention on stem cell research. And his recent patent took him 10 years and 4.5 million USD to bring it to the market.
And why it's really important that it's patented technology for two things. So this has a US patent, it's got a global patent, but to get a US patent, for example, you actually have to prove that what you're patenting it can actually do. So this patent is about the embodiment as a result of elevating a copper peptide, which can actually be measured in the blood, which including the activation of stem cells, improvements in energy, and elevation of antioxidants. So you can't just say, hey, I've got this great technology, I've got this great idea, and I want to patent it. I think it can activate dormant stem cells. You can't get that. You actually have to prove it. And secondly, from a business perspective, because it's patented and we're only 5 years into a 20-year patent, it gives us exclusivity. It gives us a massive jump on the market.
So why X39? So we're made up of stem cells. So they make up every organ in our body. And so when we're young, we're born with lots and lots of stem cells, but as we age, our stem cells start to become dormant. So by the time we're 30, we're only 50% of our stem cells are active, and at 60, less than 10% of our stem cells are active. So that just means that, you know, when we're young and we hurt ourselves, we healed really quickly. But as we get older and we might hurt ourselves, it takes longer to heal.
Yeah, I remember you bruise, it takes forever to bruise. When I was a kid, it was gone the next day. So look, we just want to talk about the opportunity at the moment. And look, some of you might just be on here because you want to have a look at the technology. You want to look at the X39. Other people are on here for the business opportunity, and some of you will be on here for both. But look, opportunity happens by creating solutions. And if we look at the current problems that need solving right now, no one knows that their stem cells become dormant. I had no idea. I just thought you get old, you start to wrinkle a little bit, you start to heal a little bit slower, you get a bit more creaky, the joints are a bit sore. I didn't realize that's because my stem cells are going to sleep and not healing like I used to heal when I was younger. My doctor never told me that. And the second problem here is so many people are struggling financially. I hear that every day. Andrea and I own several financial services businesses, and we're coming upon people and they struggle to pay their insurances. They struggle to pay their mortgages. So people are finding it tough out there. So the solution is, so if you want a success, you want an opportunity, find a solution to people's problems. Well, LifeWave have that, and we have access as brand partners to the solution, which is called the X39 stem cell reactivation or regeneration technology, which reactivates our dormant stem cells. And there's an incredible income generating business that sits in behind it. So what is it? It's a wearable light therapy patch. It's a proprietary, I'll get that out. It's a proprietary form of phototherapy. Look, light therapy, which has just been light therapy. Light therapy has been around for centuries. Going in the sun is light therapy. Stay there too long, you get a little bit burnt. Light therapy, even going in the sun, there's no vitamin D, for example, in the sun's rays, but the sun's rays activate the vitamin D inside of us. Much the same way this works. Our body, whether you know it or not, well, I didn't actually know this before, to be fair. I didn't know we gave off light. I knew we gave off heat. You can see that in a topography map or a heat map, but I didn't know we gave off light. We can't see it with the naked eye. But what is inside of this patch is a lattice work of nanocrystals, salts, amino acids, some other things there, all natural. And what it does, it reflects our own body's light back in, much like a prism. If you've ever seen a light going into a prism, it directs light off into different directions and colors. This sends our own body's light back at a certain frequency, which activates a peptide called the GHK copper peptide, which can be measured in our bloodstream. And as you elevate that, it sends a signal to bring back our dormant stem cells, as well as so many other things, going about healing genes that need, that over time have become broken. It is completely non-transdermal. It's non-invasive. Nothing is entering the bloodstream. That's why Olympic athletes can and do wear it. And look, some of the benefits are vast, because by bringing back and reactivating your own dormant stem cells, and they go about healing whatever's going wrong in your body. One of the things that most people notice is an increase in strength, particularly if you're an active physical person. I mean, I work out in the gym. I'm probably lifting weights now that I was lifting 15 years ago. I recover so much quicker. That was one of the first things I noticed. I thought, boy, I'm not taking days to recover. I'm ready to get back into it the next day. Reduce inflammation. Inflammation is not a good thing once it gets into our brain. That leads to cognitive decline, or in our joints, arthritis. One of the first things I've noticed just about everybody that starts using the X39 is the inflammation in their joints and within their body starts to go. Increased stamina, energy and vitality, all those things, fantastic.
Mental clarity. So mental clarity is a big one, especially women going through menopause. Kids that are on the spectrum as well certainly has helped. Also, people with have had concussions. It's made a huge difference to them as well. Restored muscle or skeletal condition, improved sleep. Some people have noticed it sort of straight away. We did patch a guy the other day, and he said it's the best sleep he's had in 3 years. So it was so good to hear that. And improved skin appearance.
And look, we're talking about here is achieving an optimum state, or a state of optimum health. And so a complete physical, mental, and social well-being. And boy, if you can get that mental clarity, I don't know about you guys, but when you're thinking clear, you're feeling good, I mean, life's great. And look, some of the long-term results, and so this goes right back to the early 2000s. David Smith started out with the American military looking for a solution for the Navy SEALs. They're underwater, away from light for long periods of times, days, weeks, months. And so to keep their energy levels up. So this is where this journey started in the early 2000s. 9/11 come along, funding was pulled out of that. David Smith teamed up with the National University in Ireland, which was in Galway, which is one of the top 2 stem cell research universities in the world. So when we're talking about these results, that's where these results come from. So within the first few days, around about 4,000 genes begin to repair and reset to a younger age. Within about 6 weeks, the brain becomes balanced. And we've seen that, as Andrea mentioned, with neurodiverse people. We've even seen non-verbal autistic adults being able to utter words, speak for the very first time, communicate. And people with ADHD, Asperger's, dyspraxia have been able to think a little bit clearer. People with anxiety, just finding once their brain becomes a little bit balanced, a lot of that goes. Collagen begins to increase. Now, after 3 months, now that's really important, because one of the reasons we get a little bit wrinkly when we get older is because our collagen is thinning. If our stem cells remained active all our life and our GHK remained active, then we wouldn't get the wrinkling effect on the outside, because the collagen is thinning. The scary thing is all our major organs are made up of collagen. It's thinning on the inside as well. That's why we get age-related conditions. But within 6 months, they found that the average biological heart reversal or reversed in age by 8 years. So we're not talking about anti-aging, we're talking about age reversing. And this was one of my favorite slides. It's a topography map. It's a 77-year-old woman. You can see on the left, the red is inflammation. Now, that has massive warning signs, because that inflammation in the brain is going to lead, or can lead, to Alzheimer's, Parkinson, dementia. It's cognitive decline waiting to happen. But after 3 weeks, it had all bar gone. Within 6 weeks, it's completely gone. All this lady did was wear the X39. Everyone that's seen this, I've seen neuropsychologists, neurologists comment on this, they're just blown away by those results.
So how do you wear the X39? It's as simple as, so it's just you wear it for 12 hours on, ideally during the day, because it does need to be hydrated. So salt or electrolytes and lots of water just keeps, you got to keep hydrating it. And then you take it off and leave it off overnight, and then basically it's rinse and repeat. Put it back on again and next morning for 12 hours, take it off again 12 hours later. So it's as simple as, and what they do say is that you wear it for 1 month for every decade you are old. So if you're in your 50s, you wear it for 5 months. This is for maximum results. So some people will get results pretty early on. Other people may have to wait a little bit longer, but for the maximum results, that's what they suggest.
Look, and one of the things we certainly like to share some testimonies, and look, tonight we're just going to share our own personal testimony of what happened to us, our own physical testimony. So I went along really, when I saw the presentation, I thought, hey, look, I'd be silly not to try this. If this is quarter as good as they're saying it is, or half as good as what they're saying it is, I'd be mad not to try this, because I like supplements. I've been taking supplements most of my life. I like to be physical and healthy and fit. But one of the things that had happened, I played a lot of rugby when I was younger. At a very young age, I played with adults and played senior rugby when I was still at school. So my body took a fair pounding. I've had a hip replacement because I had a broken hip playing rugby. I've had 2 shoulder reconstructions. I've had my nose repaired a couple of times, and plus various other injuries. But I redid my shoulder recently, and I know what it's like going through shoulder surgery and the time it takes to recover. And I thought, I don't really want to do that. I had another tear in the rotator cuff. 2.5 years I've been battling with that. I've been seeing every physiotherapist, osteopath, chiropractor I could to try and fix it. I even had stem cell replacement therapy, and that cost $7,500. It didn't work. Well, it lasted for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then it went back to the pain again. I was seeing a physiotherapist twice a week, an osteopath once a month. That's costing $450, and it referred down to my elbow. I had inflammation in my elbow. I couldn't straighten my elbow, and I was in a lot of pain, wasn't I?
A lot.
And
yeah.
so I'm trying to push through in the gym. I know I'm hurting, and I'm going, it's not good because it's probably not helping. But just 3.5 weeks after wearing this patch, and I wasn't expecting this, it completely blindsided me. I was in the gym, and I thought, there's no pain, or very little pain. And so I thought, because I couldn't even lift my arm up, let alone do a lateral raise, I thought, I wonder if I could do a lateral raise. Maybe that's pushing it. So I tried 1 kg and a 2 kg and a 3 kg. I thought, wow, this is fantastic. I came running in and told Andrea, actually. I said, I can't believe it. I was probably about 80% right, but over the next probably 3 or 4 months, or 2 or 3 months actually, it's completely healed. So I can have a full-on workout, do whatever I need to do with my shoulder. The only thing's changed is wearing this.
Well, my story is slightly different because I didn't batter and bruise my body when I was younger, like some people here. So, and I'm the skeptical one in the family. So when I wasn't with Chris when he had this presentation. So I was actually climbing a mountain at the time. But when I came back down, and then Chris said, look, we're going to try this. And I went, well, there's not too much the matter with me. So I'm not really expecting much. But I thought, well, I'm going to give it a go anyway. So, but the biggest thing I noticed was the menopause. So the brain fog, the hot flushes, and just the sleep. That was a big thing for me. So I was never going to go on HRT because I've got a family history of cancer. So it's just like, well, I thought, oh, it's okay. I would just carry on through it. It's, I should be fine. It's not that bad. And I didn't actually realize how bad it was until all of a sudden the brain fog lifted, started sleeping better at night. And, because normally you wake up, you throw the covers off because you're so hot, and then you put them back on. And then I'll be waking up early and then just take me hours to get back to sleep. And even now I will still wake up occasionally at like 2 o'clock in the morning. I might be awake for an hour, but when I wake up later, the energy was a huge thing for me as well. So I'm not as tired. I can go through the whole day. Even on a Friday night now, when we're watching a movie, I actually stay awake. So
Awesome.
which I would quite often fall asleep, as I'm sure a lot of women can relate to that. So after a busy week. So yeah.
And look, we've got our 94-year-old dad on this. And he was sort of getting to the point, he was sitting on his couch. He said, "Oh, Christopher, I've got no energy. I don't feel like getting up, going for a walk." And so we got him on the patches. And so literally within a week, his energy had started coming back. He's walking now around about a half a K to a K a day. He's doing 50 freestanding squats a day. So the change it's done to our 94-year-old dad has been phenomenal. All right, so I just want to jump back into our presentation here.
So we're just going to talk a little bit more about the testimonials as well. So I'll just quickly run through these. So as we see here, a lady had scoliosis, the curved back has gone from straight to a line now. Young boy with a snowboarding accident. He had a job interview 3 days later, patched himself and his grazes healed. A lady with allergies, her skin is now clear and bright, and see all the inflammation, everything is gone from her face. A burning, painful skin goes clear and calm. This man here has gone from bald and grey to his hair growth and darkening. Now, I do have to say that about Chris. The one thing is his hair has got a lot darker, which was quite surprising. It was, I think, with the X39s, it goes to places where you don't expect it to go, and that wasn't something. It didn't need to be healed. It's just life. But it was amazing how dark his hair has got. So and then we have a woman from assisted living to now driving around in her RV. It's wonderful.
And look, if you think that, if you're on here for the very first time, you think that's a bit weird. What happens when you reactivate that? Well, you elevate that GHK, it goes about repairing damaged genes. And what often it is the hair coloring, that is a gene. That's why we're getting grey. If that becomes repaired or reactivated, those things will happen. But what's really exciting when you see these pictures, when you're seeing the change on the outside, there's the change going on in the inside as well.
So you can go onto YouTube because there's lots of doctors and their testimonials as well and talking about the patches. So Dr. Stacey, and she has actually also done a book as well regarding the different patches. So really worth looking at. But we receive good news stories every day. We're talking to somebody and they're telling us what difference it's made. And like I said, this gentleman came and saw us the other day and he said, best night's sleep I've had in 3 years. So yeah.
He's sold.
Absolutely.
He's really struggling with nerve pain and after a neck injury. We just put it on and he just said, look, I couldn't believe it. He said, I could go and I could sleep without drugs or without medication. So look, if you're brand new here, go and have a look at this as an info. You scroll down there, there's 3 videos on there. There's one about light therapy, David Smith's talking. You can scroll down and hear what doctors and medical practitioners are saying about it and why they refer it to their clients, their patients. But we're just going to change tack a little bit and talk a little bit about the business opportunity here now, but for the next 5 or so minutes. But look, really, this is a 20-year-old company. That's not something that's just popped up and thought, hey, let's go to market and see if we can sell a stem cell reactivation patch or regeneration patch. They've been around 20 years. So in 2021, just before the X39 came on the market, they were turning over $20 million US, which is a pretty good company. But look at the growth trajectory. 2024, over 600 million. That's a 3,000% growth. This year is pushing towards $1 billion. It is ranked number 1 in momentum in the whole direct sales industry. And so how this whole thing works, the business opportunity, we're going to talk about this in just a moment, but look, it has a system that allows you to duplicate your efforts, because David Smith chose a direct selling model as opposed to going down the traditional wholesaler, retailer, millions of dollars in advertising to get brand awareness. He thought, look, if I can get it out there cheaper, the product's actually doing what it says it's going to do, they're going to it's going to grow organically, because people are saying, hey, I've had these great results. Why don't you try it? And so his heart here was that I mean, this is only $6 a day, so it's less than a cup of coffee, so it's not expensive. But in real terms, not everyone can afford that. So David Smith said, look, I want to take price out of the equation. If people refer some people to the company, instead of paying the retail chain, I'll give them a referral bonus, and that allows them to cover their product. But you can also start up a business very similar to a franchise without the high franchise fees. You can start this with a credit card, and then people can go about, and you can build a little business, or you can build a big business and start chasing after some of your dreams and goals.
So what are your dreams and goals? What is important in your life? Is it more family time, more security, travel, better health, less debt? I mean, all of the above, I think, for us anyway, and also certainly big on the travel.
Yeah, and that's sort of take, because I mean, it's good. You can earn really good money, but if you don't have the time, you're not free. You can have a lot of time, but if you don't have the money, you're not free. So freedom really is a function of time and money. And so if we look at the compensation plan, look, it's just very simple. We use a very simple binary bonus plan, or a Unilever binary system, because it's going to have some way of tracking the money flowing through. But look, very simply, just by building a left team and a right team, and then that'll just organically grow. Some people will want to grow this to a full-time business. Others will just refer to family and friends. But regardless, it will grow, and it will grow organically. But even through this simple binary system, the team bonus that you can receive is up to $25,000 a week, and that's US. Now, that's not going to happen overnight. That's going to happen over a period of time. It might take a year or 2 or 3 years, but that's a pretty decent chunk of change. And so one of the things the company have really done to help momentum grow and help people get in very quickly and help fund themselves, they said, look, you bring in, it's you plus 2, 1 on your left team, 1 on your right team. You become what we call a one-star manager. That'll mean nothing if you're brand new here, but they'll pay $25 US a week plus the bonus. You then go one step further, and you put 4 people in, 2 left, 2 right, straight away, and they'll pay a $50 a week US bonus. So that's got you up and running. That's covered all your product, and plus you'll be getting a bonus. But look, there is 9 different ways of making money through this, and I'm just talking about 2 really at the moment. There's matching bonus. So as you introduce brand partners yourself, you get to share in the profits they do. And I'm not going to go through that because that's quite a complicated equation, but you can actually earn up to $20,000 per person, and that's also a weekly bonus. So there's even more money than the first way of making money. So, and that may not be for everybody. Some people just might want the patches, but if you want that option, it's there. So look, just very briefly, look, I've been in business for over 40 years. Apart from about 6 months being employed, which I hated, I thought I'm not ever going to do that again in my 20s. I've always been in business for myself. Andrea and I have been in business as long as we've been together, and we've over those times, built some very successful businesses, and we've seen some really good businesses come and go. I would have to say this is the greatest wealth creating business I have ever seen in 40 years of business. Because if you look at conventional business, there is high startup costs. You buy a franchise, you buy a McDonald's franchise, you could be looking at $1 million. You buy just a normal lawn mowing franchise, you're looking at 50,000, 100,000. There's no real startup costs other than getting an enrollment pack. You can start this on a credit card. Typically in business, there's a high risk. There's absolutely no risk here. Complete money back guarantee of everything. There's a lot of stress. And when you've got wages and staff to look after, that can be very stressful. This is stress-free. You build this in whatever time or speed or pace you like. as Tessa says, in the nooks and crannies of your life. Long hours. We would work 80 hours a week in our traditional business, sometimes more. So that doesn't equate to freedom. We might be making good money, but we don't have the time to enjoy it. This, we make our own schedule. Trial and error versus a proven system. The learning curve in business can be very brutal and very expensive. Where there's mentorship here, people helping mentor you, coach you through it, there's unlimited earning potential through this whole opportunity, where there is often limits in, there's limited earning potential in traditional business, because only so much you can do. But if you can leverage and duplicate yourself and your system, you can really maximize that. So how do you get started? This is a sleeve. So a sleeve is, there is 30 X39 patches in here. It is 99 US, works out about 160 New Zealand. It's about $6.50 a day on today's current exchange rate, less than a cup of coffee. So it costs you nothing to join this company. What you do, you would enroll with one of their enrollment packs. So if you look brand new and you're saying, look, I only just want to use this just for myself. I want to access it at wholesale. I'm not interested in sharing in the profits. I'm not interested in sharing with anybody. You just come on to the core pack and you're actually getting 3 of these, 3 X39s. And then you would go on what we call a monthly subscription, because this is a subscription business. And we call it auto ship. If you're single, it'll be 1 sleeve auto ship. If you're a couple, it'll be a 2 sleeve auto ship. But look, if you want to experience this and you've got a bigger family, I mean, you come on in advance. I mean, like Andrea and I, it'd be like 1 for me, 1 for Andrea. We give it to the kids. But we also, when we wanted to refer it on to a couple of people, we had a couple of these in stock, because it takes 8 to 10 days in New Zealand for the product to arrive. So we could just say, hey, look, try that, get started immediately. When yours arrives, you give that back. But if you want to run with this as a business, and that works out about $9.50 in New Zealand, I think. But if you want to run as a business, the Advanced Plus is the ideal pack. It's 11 sleeves, X39, that gets your family covered. It also allows you to have some rolling stock. Or you might want to go with the premium, which is the most popular, which is the best value for money, and that gives you 20 of those. That's what we're on. We upgraded pretty quickly to that, but it's allowed us to run a business on it. But look, the 2 sites that I'd recommend you have a look at if if you've been in here for a little while or you're just checking this out. This is a team. That's all the training. It's an online university, best I've seen. Everything you need to know about building this business, you can do in your leisure and pleasure and your timing. Check that this is at info. That's our product site, and you can find out a lot about the X39 and how it works, the patents, the studies, and so forth.
So the time is now. Make your move. Are you serious about your dream? This is hope for your future.
And look, it's, as I said, just as we close, I would say this is the most incredible technology I have ever seen. A wearable light therapy patch that is so easy to put on. I put it on after my shower in the morning, take it off before I go to bed at night. And my body has reversed in age. My body feels like it was 15, 20 years ago. It's just incredible. And all I'm doing is wearing this. But the impact we've seen with our friends and family and colleagues just blows our mind. But this, as I said, and I'll say it again, is the most incredible wealth creation business vehicle I have seen in 40 plus years in business, because we have the right product, we have the right timing. It's brand new. We've got first mover advantage. So the time is now, as Andrea said. So look, guys, that's it. I really enjoyed sharing with you.
Yeah, it's great to have you all on. So go back to your brand partner, or the person that's introduced you, that has brought you on, and yeah, go and ask them some questions.
Awesome, guys. Thanks very much.